Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Okay, let's do what we do best every Monday afternoon. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, riders. It's Monday once again, and Business Mirror Cycling is back. It's back on the road for stage 9 of your weekly Monday's only cycling show on Facebook Live and YouTube. For this afternoon, we're again pedaling from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We have 4 distinguished gentlemen, all experts in their respective field of sports, of course, cycling, sports medicine, and training. It will be one afternoon and early evening of discussion on the potential injuries that strike cyclists, especially those who took the bike only recently, prompted by this COVID-19 pandemic. Ngayon, I turn you to my partner here, who is joining us from far north in Bambang, Nueva Vizcaya. I'm sorry for the buckle, Com3. Sunshine Joy Mendoza Vallejos. Come in, Com3. Is Com3 in? Com3. Direct head. Let's pause for a while. Ngayong hapon po, puro po about injuries. And kasi lahat tayo, hindi naman tayo sigurado. Baka mali yung posture natin, mali yung pagpepedal natin, and then mali yung poise natin, kumbaga. So, Com3, are you in?
Hello, Com2. Good afternoon. You hear me now?
Yes, 4x4.
Ayan, thank you, Com2, and good afternoon to our ka-BMs. I am Sunshine Vallejos, or simply Com3. I missed all of you last Monday, but I am back for stage 9 in what we could and what could be another serious and important discussion about cycling. So cycling is not simply getting into your head, wearing your helmet, and start pedaling. There are more into cycling, even when you cycle to work, you cycle to run errands, or just to stay fit or to be competitive. But before we go on, we'll do the routine, of course, our shout outs to our loyal viewers, our KBMs who never fail to watch and participate in our discussion. So hello and good afternoon to one of our top fan, Mr. Rodel Suarez from Laguna. Hello, hello, my dear brother. Medyo nawala po ang aking mga internet. So hello and good afternoon also to Ganaban Carlos. And pasensya na, medyo matagal at kailangan po nating hintayin yung ating tamang oras. To Miss Karing Davad, maraming salamat po sa panonood. And hello daw, Mr. Dominic Carpio, or Coach Kuya Dom from Lad Crisostomo. Watching from Quezon City, Gab Ferreras, maraming salamat sa panonood and good afternoon. Hello everyone daw from Roxanne Cabile Montiero. Good afternoon po. And Mr. Jesse Flores, good afternoon. Business Mirror, present daw siya. So, salamat po sa panonood sa inyo. Com2, meron ka rin bang shoutouts?
So far, at this moment, wala muna. Pero sige, shoutout ako dyan sa mga taga Purok 4. Barangay Makate, Bambang, Nueva Vizcaya. And of course, sa aking mga tropa dyan sa Dagupan City. Ewan ko kung nanonood sila ngayon kasi 5 o'clock pa lang, maya-maya manonood na rin sila. So anyway, ngayon, let me remind everyone that yung mga guests natin, mga experts in their particular field, pero hindi naman solid English ang discussions natin kasi baka magka-nose injury ako during the show. So before we go on, last episode ng Stage 8, merong pinamigay ang BM Cycling na isang mountain bike. Isang yellow mountain bike na kapareho ng standard color ng Business Mirror na yellow gold. Ang nanalo, sino nga yung nanalo nung unang bike natin?
Si Rose Serafica.
Rose Serafica. Miss Rose Serafica, ang unang
winner.
Babae. Yes, babae siya. Taga saan si Miss Rose Serafica?
Taga-Tondo po.
Taga-Tondo, Manila lang. So malapit lang, pwede niyang i-bike pauwi yung bisikleta. Although nandito pa siya, hindi pa nakiklaim. So, 3 po yan na mountain bikes ang ipamimigay namin. Meron pang 2. At para ipaliwanag muli kung paano ninyo mapapanalunan yung last 2 bikes for Season 1 of BM Cycling, andito po ang ating market advertising manager na si Aldwin Tolosa.
Mga PM cyclist, eto na naman ako, si Tol Aldwin. Siyempre, eto na naman, may bisikleta na naman tayo sa harapan. Ibig sabihin nito, since yung last week, kung napanood nyo, nagkarera yung aming BM Ducklings, para kung sino man nanalo doon, siya makakatanggap nitong bisikleta. Miss Rose Serafica, congratulations sa iyo. Yung bisikleta mo, on the way na. So within the week, nandiyan na sa iyo yan. At ipapakita namin sa inyo, mga followers ng BM Cycling, kung paano niya na-receive yung bisikleta. So, ngayon, since ngayong episode na to, panibagong bisikleta naman ng aming ipamimigay, kaya dapat tumuto kayo ngayon sa buong episode, ha? Abangan nyo uli yung icon ng bisikleta. Bilangin nyo kung ilang beses, ha? Huwag kalimutan, ha? Yung icon na yan, bilangin ng ilang beses at kung anong kulay, tandaan, ha? Ngayon, kung alam nyo na, kung nakita nyo na, nabilang nyo na, sasabihin ng ating mga host na si Com2 at Com3 na sige, mag-comment na kayo. Ngayon, ang i-comment nyo, huwag kalimutan, siyempre, yung pangalan nyo, location, kung ilan yung bike na nakita nyo, anong kulay, at siyempre, huwag kalimutan ha, yung hashtag BM Cycling, At mag-tag na rin kayo ng 3 kaibigan. Okay, pero huwag kalimutan ha, i-share nyo tong episode na to. Dahil pag sinare nyo tong episode na to, pag nag-comment kayo, magkakaroon kayo ng sharer badge. Okay? So yun lang ha, napakasimple. Tumuto kayo habang nakikinig kayo, nanonood ng magandang talakayan mamaya. Marami kayong matututunan. Magkakaroon pa rin kayo ng opportunity na magkaroon ng isang bisikleta. Okay? So yun lang, tune in sa show na to ngayon, mag-tune in kayo. Tutok mabuti ha. Tutok ng tutok ha. So, okay, yun lang. Teka muna. Tom, hindi ko kasi nabati yung mother ko last time. So, babatiin ko muna siya ngayon. Hi ka pala sa aking mother. Ang number 1 fan ko, si Norma Maralid Tolosa. Hi, mami. See you later. So, yun po. Ito po si Tol Aldwin. Safe ride everyone. Babalik ko na kay Com 2. Rock and roll. Back to you, Com.
Rock and roll, Bonifacio Republic, Aldwin Tolos. Aldwin, next time sakyan mo kaya yung bike habang ina-explain. Habang nagpe-pedal ka papunta ng palapit ng camera. So, meron pong shoutout dito si Mr. Rick Rodriguez. Hello po, BM Cycling. Dito po buong team 711 Click Air 21. By Road Bike Philippines Continental Team. Nasa Tagaytay po sila for their annual training camp. Good luck sa training camp. Ingat sa training camp and mag-ingat sa pagkakahalubilo kasi si Peter Sagan tapos dalawa pa niyang teammates ay nag-test positive for COVID-19. So, they are now quarantined somewhere in France. So, okay. Com3, let's go to our guest now. Com3, can you introduce our guests? Com3. Direct, kumusta signal ni Com3?
Hello, Com2. Loud and clear?
Yes.
Oo, pasensya na at mahina ang signal sa bundok ni Tralala. But before we go on, I'd like to say hello and happy watching to J. Chris Lampag from Davao del Norte and also from Binyan, Laguna, Miss Bella Prisma, magandang hapon. And also nasabi mo na si hello Rick and the entire team of 711 Click Air 21 by Road Bike Philippines Continental Team, magandang hapon and have a safe ride during your training camp dyan po sa Tagaytay. Yon. So, good afternoon again mga ka-BM. So, we go to introducing our guests for this afternoon. Our first guest is a triathlete who owns a degree of Master of Sports Science from the U.S. Sports Academy, a product of University of Santo Tomas, a coach of the Philippine Obstacle Sports Team to the 30th Southeast Asian Games, Mr. Saul Anthony Sibaya. Saul, please greet our viewers and for your opening statement, please.
Hello, hi everyone. Thank you for having me as a guest. Sa mga kababayan natin na nakikinig ngayon, sana marami kayong mapulot sa ating ibang speakers din, not only from. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Saul. Our next guest is from far down south in Mindanao, Davao City, a UCI Level 2 cycling coach, a former member of the national track team during the glory days of Project Gintong Alay, and our moto commissar in the Tour de Filipinas, Dominic Carpio. Kuya Dom, kumusta na?
Oh, audio. Dominic, we can't hear you. Dominic, you're muted. Can you call Dominic and tell him? Dominic, you're on mute. Let's wait for Dominic to ayun, parang may naririnig na ako. Dominic. So Sol, standby tayo ha. Si Sol po ay naka-base sa Doha, Qatar ngayon. I believe you were part of the national cycling team then nung early 2000, ano?
Yes, sir. I was part of the developmental pool sa national team. So, naabutan ko sila John Paul Morales, Alfie Catalan, Kuya Bong Cortan, Victor Espiritu.
Naabutan mo ba ako doon?
More or less, sir, mga back then, definitely. Pero masyado pa siguro akong bata, bagito ng time na yun. So,
At around 2003, ganyan, 2004.
actually, 2004 to 2005, ako nasa base sa Velodrome. So, nung time na yon, ang tinutuluyan ko si Kuya yung kwarto ni Kuya Bong Cortan.
Bong
So,
Cortan, si
shoutout
Paterno,
kay Kuya Bong.
Paterno Bong Cortan. Oh,
Sila Kuya Alfie, sila Alfie.
Yes.
Yan, yan yung mga nasa bungad ng tinutuluyan sa Velodrome. So, nakakamiss din yung times na yun.
Hindi lang tayo nagkakatagpo nun siguro. Kasi
Baka sir, hindi nyo ako napapansin kasi nga developmental lang ako.
Yes. Nakwento ka sa akin ni Coach Reinhard sabi niya, Sir, kasama natin yan nung. Sabi niya, ganun ba?
Yes, kasama ko si
Coach,
Reynard, Kuya Reynard, Coach Reynard.
Okay. Dominic, is Dominic okay? Okay, so meron technical problems kay Dominic. So we go now to our third guest. Meron po tayong dalawang doctors na guests. At ang unahin ko po ay isa ring triathlete, an orthopedic surgeon on sports medicine, the team physician of the UST Growling Tigers in the UAAP, a medical doctor din of the Triathlon Association of the Philippines. Yung presidente po ninyo, yung presidente ng TRAP, birthday po kahapon. Happy birthday, Tom Tarasco. Presenting to you, Dr. Carmelo Braganza. Doc Braganza, come in, please. Mahirap ang mga signal today, Okay, ayun na si Doc Braganza. Good afternoon, Doc. May delay. I suppose there's a delay. Doc, good afternoon. Have you contacted Dr. Braganza na? Our fourth, ayun. So there's again a technical problem. Mukhang meron natang UFO na lumilipad ngayon sa atmosphere ng Philippine Area of Responsibility. Medyo na-alter yung mga signals, or baka yung satellite ng Doc Marc is in already? Okay. Balikan po natin si Dr. Braganza later. Ang ating pang-apat na guest is also an orthopedic sports medicine expert, a member of the Philippine Society of Sports Medicine, and a medical officer of the Philippine Football Federation and the Asian Football Confederation. We have with us Dr. Marc Anthony Castro.
Hello guys, how are you? Hi Sol, kamusta?
Ayun.
Kumusta, Doc?
Okay lang naman.
Batchmate ba? Batchmate?
Hindi.
Small friend yan.
Okay. Doc Castro, can you greet our viewers now?
Yeah, I'd like to say hi to everybody watching in. No? Sana may mapulot kayo sa amin sa mga kapadyak natin dyan. Good afternoon. I hope we can share knowledge with everybody that's tuned in today.
Of course, Dr. Castro, you will be very helpful sa advice nyo sa ating mga viewers. By the way, I hope Nonong Araneta and Attorney Ed Gastanes are watching right now, no? Okay. So, si Doc Braganza, medyo may problema pa, no? Okay. So, let's get the ball rolling for everyone. What are the common first question, kasi our title is Injury-Free Ride. For everyone, what are the common injuries na nai-incur ng isang rider, whether he is a newbie, a rookie, or a professional cyclist? For example, our Sari here, one of our staff, was, sometimes bikes on weekends. So, ano yung mga common or injuries na nangyayari and how do you prevent them? Umpisahan natin kay Sol from Doha, Qatar.
For me, karamihan ng mga na-experience nila commuting first time, pwedeng low back pain, neck pain, okay, or hand numbness, possible. And of course, sa knee, okay, alam ko may mga sa ibang group, sa cycling group sa Facebook, tawag nga nila to, parang yung common na comment is tuhod lang yan. But honestly, yung knee is a puppet of, or tuta lang siya ng ng hip at saka ng foot. So kung meron kang muscular imbalances, kaya hindi tama yung saddle height, hindi tama yung feet position, the knee is the one that's gonna suffer. Yun yung isa sa pinaka-nararamdaman natin na may pain. So everything is connected to each other. Konektado lahat yung katawan natin. So kung ano yung nangyari sa baba or nangyari sa taas will affect the other. So yun yung common pains and aches and pains na naririnig natin sa mga first time. Actually, kahit mga veteranong siklista, makakaramdam din ng ganong aches and pains.
Okay. Thank you for your comment, Sol. Interesting yung yung puppet. The knee is the puppet of the hips and the legs. So I think Dr. Braganza is already with us. So Dr. Braganza, medyo may technical problem kanina. Can you first greet our viewers? Dr. Braganza? Is there a problem with the audio or the delay? We are having some dead spots. Dr. Braganza, can you hear us? Iba talaga sa Qatar, ang lakas ng Wi-Fi. Busy kayo next year sa Qatar, World Cup.
World Cup and in 10 years, Asian Games.
Asian Games, yeah. Second time since 2006.
Yes.
Dr. Braganza.
Si Eric Feliciano na nandito din sa Qatar,
ganun
mga
ba?
friends namin. Yes, head mechanic and one of the champion yun last year sa road race time trial. And yun nga, nagkakwentuhan kami dito. Huli nga rin yung Asian Games dito sa Qatar.
2006, yes. I was there also noong 2006. Anything can we do something about Dr. Braganza? Maybe we can call. So anyway, Dr. Castro, the same question with what I asked.
Okay. Basically, cycling kasi is a repetitive sport. So you're doing one certain thing, which is pedaling for hours on end. Now, when you're a newbie cyclist, usually ang kasi niyan is we start getting a lot of injuries when you cross the threshold mark of 1 hour after an hour of actually doing repetitive motion. So that's where the fit comes in, number one. Number two, also the what you call this kung if the person is fit enough to do the activity. Now, a lot of the injuries that come out of cycling, especially for the newbies and also for the seasoned athletes or the seasoned cyclists, are all boils down to how you fit into your bike. And if your bike fit or your, let's say, mahaba masyado yung stem mo or mababa masyado yung saddle mo or mababa masyado yung seat post mo, you will be doing a repetitive motion for a very, very long time. And when that happens, that's when the injuries start to come in. So, ako, ang advice ko sa mga papasok dito is really to try to dial in on your fit so that we can avoid injuries. Now, aside from the repetitive injuries that come in, syempre yung semplang. Pag yun ang nangyari sa'yo, talagang wala na tayong magagawa doon. Yun na yun. But most of the repetitive injuries that come in, those can be really alleviated by tuning into your bike. So, it's not as simple as just getting a bike off the rack tapos riding it for hours on end. These bikes need to be tuned into to your body and to your para hindi maiwasan ng injury.
So the worst thing to happen to you is the semplang. Pero
syempre yung semplang. Lahat naman tayo, walang siklistang hindi sumisemplang, sir. Lahat sumisemplang.
Pero most of the time, pag yung mga sumisemplang, ang unang-unang nilang chinecheck yung bike nila.
Ay, syempre. ang buto humihilom, ang carbon hindi.
Pag yung carbon na damage na, tapon na, di ba?
Pwede naman ayusin, pero syempre, masakit. Masakit ang carbon masira, masakit sa bulsa.
Yes. Correct. Kumbaga sa fencing, touche. So, is Comtri with us? Comtri? Comtri? Medyo, pasensya na kayo mga ka-BM. Medyo in the past 4 or 5 episodes, ngayon ulit nagka-problema ang signal dito sa Makati. We're broadcasting from Makati kasi. Although rarely na mahit ganito ka-worse ang signal. Dominic is broadcasting from Davao. Pero mukhang mahina rin ayun, si Dominic andyan na. Si Comtri.
Sir, narinig niyo na ako?
Yan, okay. Yes. Medyo...
Okay. Pasensya na.
Okay, hindi, wag. Isa lang ang problema natin. Signal. Si Comtri, andyan ba si Comtri?
Malayo kasi itong Davao.
Comtri. Okay. Hirap talaga, Hirap na nga sa vaccine, hirap pa sa signal. So, Dominic, hindi mo na-miss mo yung conversation namin kanina, no?
I was listening apart.
Okay. Yung as a long-time coach and as a former national team member, track cyclist po siya, yung sa velodrome. Dominic, ano yung mga common injuries ng mga riders natin na napupuna mo, and especially doon sa mga bago na nagbabike pa lang, yung mga bumili ng bike nung pandemic? Ano yung mga common injuries and how do you think could they prevent those injuries?
Kalimitan naman sa injuries, dalawang klase. Kung hindi dahil sa mga crash, napapansin namin mga nagmumula doon sa my position sa bike. Kaya nga kami as coaches, unang session namin sa team upon start of the training season is yun talagang bike fitting session. Para naman simula pa lang, tama na yung position ng siklista sa bike. At sa gayon, naiwasan talaga yung injury.
You got it straight from Mr. Dominic Carpio. And then, anyway, si Dr. Braganza andyan na. Finally, siguro, okay na yung signal ni Dr. Braganza. So, yes. Doc Braganza, can you greet muna our viewers here at BM Cycling?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, too, for joining us as one of our guests. Are you related to Nani?
Yeah, he's my uncle.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he former mayor of Alaminos and Congressman
Yeah.
Hernani Braganza. I live 40 kilometers away from your uncle's city. I'm
Yeah.
from I'm from Dagupan City.
Hey, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Mga nitila.
Manantila. So, may malaki ang pagkakahawig kay Congressman Mayor Nani.
Yeah, some similar.
Yeah. So anyway, Doc Braganza, we were talking about yung common injuries of riders, not necessarily mga elite riders. Ano yung common injuries and what do you think are the reasons why and how can you prevent these injuries?
Yeah, the most common injuries with cyclists, like with Dr. Castro, we're both orthopedic and sports surgeons. They're actually fractures and injuries from a fall from the bike. So the most important thing if you're starting out as a cyclist or sisimula po is always protective gear. And I think to practice balance when you're starting out. So I've had experience. I've seen Dr. Castro. He joined some events. Coach Saul, I've seen him a lot. They joined some of the races that I partake as a medical director for. So I've been with quite a few races, mostly for triathlon and duathlon. The problems we see mostly with the bike is actually when the participants have a fall or when they crash. So that's when you have these injuries.
How about yung poor posture, poor positioning?
Yeah, Coach Dominic Carpio actually gave a very good point, because when cyclists come out, there are actually things that the coaches point out to begin with, which is yung proper bike fit. So bike fit is actually a pillar of three things, which is comfort, speed, and your comfortable position. Actually, yung comfort that comes in very much for our recreational athletes or cyclists. So they must have a comfortable ride, because if you're comfortable, then there's a less injury risk. But as you progress and get better, or you're participating in more, we say, competitive sport, you lose some of that comfort, and then it's more into being faster and having a more aerodynamic position on the bike. So it's very important to have a good bike fit. So always start out with a proper sized bike, and then you can tweak the positions slowly. You can adjust the seat, you can adjust the handlebars, you can adjust quite a few things to make it comfortable for the rider. And if the rider is comfortable, there's less chances na magkakaroon po ng injuries or discomfort sa leeg, sa kamay, mostly in the lower back.
So all the four of you are merong common denominator doon sa sa mga sinabi ninyo. It's bike fit is number one, diba? And to ask a trainer or a coach or someone who has the knowledge to teach them how to bike properly. Hindi yung pumili ka ng isang bisikleta na may forma ng konti, and then you know how to balance, and then you start riding, and then you start buying accessories along the way. You don't know na nagde-develop ka na ng injuries na hindi mo alam. So anyway, before we go on, I will ask Coach Direct Ed to acknowledge muna natin yung mga partners ng BM Cycling. We will do some tinkering with the technicalities ng ating signal, kasi yung first 30 minutes natin nahirapan tayo eh. So we struggled with the signal. So isingit muna natin, i-acknowledge muna natin yung mga partners ng BM Cycling. Direct Ed. Com3, are you with us?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Com3.
Hello, Com2, can you hear me?
Yeah, yun. I can hear you now.
Ayan, so,
Okay.
Yes.
hello?
Yes.
Ayan, so sorry, pasensya na medyo naglalag ang internet ko. But yes, I've been monitoring naman our Facebook Live and I agree with our guests too. Totoo yung sinasabi nila na bike fit. Kasi pwede mong sabihin na kapag kunwari yung bike or nanghiram ka ng bike or baguhan ka sa pagbili ng bike, gusto mo lang may brand, gusto mo lang dahil syempre yung uso ngayon, nakikiuso ka din, pwede na to, pwede na yan. But as you continue to use the bike na hindi tugma sa katawan mo, you'll start feeling uncomfortable. Then sasakit na yung shoulders mo, yung arms mo, o yung kamay mo kasi mali din yung hawak ng grip. Mali din yung grip mo sa manibela kasi masyadong nai-stretch, ganyan. So yung knees mo, yung muscles sa paa, sa likod sa baba ng tuhod, minsan pati yung ankle natin na napepersa kasi baka mamaya masyadong mataas yung saddle mo, yung paa mo habang nagpe-pedal masyadong nai-stretch, so sumasakit yung mga yon. And your back, of course, your spine. And also yung sinabi nga ni Doc Braganza na yung wearing of the protective gears, napaka-importante po nun, lalong-lalo na sa mga baguhan nating mga siklista o sa mga newbies natin, lalong-lalo na sa mga bata. Marami dito sa probinsya, kapag nagbabiyahe ako from province to Manila, marami yung nakikita ko, dinadaanan kong bata. Ang gaganda ng jersey, naka-shades pa, but they don't wear a helmet. So sa mga ka-BM po natin, a big no-no po yun sa isang siklista yung pagsusuot ng helmet.
Yes, very correct. Com3. Ngayon, meron muna ulit tayong break kasi dito sa BM Cycling, meron po tayong mga fini-feature na mga cycling clubs. Mga 2 or 3 cycling clubs. So please, Direct Ed, let's present the cycling clubs na bisita natin ngayon. Roll video.
Go. 2, 1, roll.
We are Team Ang from Cainta, Rizal.
I am Damasela Reveresa.
I'm Shane Villegas.
Ako po si Gian Ana.
Rona Milantok. Lerma Reveresa.
And welcome to Business Mirror Cycling Talk Show.
Mabuhay!
Ang boso-boso yun.
We are the Autoplus KBM Cycling Club. Welcome to the Business Mirror Cycling Talk Show.
Charles Santillan.
Abansini, Vanergo,
Ivanlu. Ayon Go.
Perez, Santos, Jason C,
Vincent Chua.
yan. Featured KTM. Yan.
May dumadaan na ano. Okay. We are the Alco Plus Tri-Kings. Welcome to the Business Mirror Cycling Club and Talk Show. Ako po si Cara David.
Dennis, si Val.
Holly. And Jim. LM.
Salamat po!
Yun, we're back. Parang nakaka-distract yung yung poor signal. Parang nagbabike ka tapos biglang may dumikit sa yung jeep sa bike lane na unprotected. Pasensya na po. Siguro I will accept the responsibility bilang host ng BM Cycling. So, going back. Sa mga doctors natin, ano yung worst na trinit ninyo coming off a cycling injury? We start with Doc Bragi because they call you Doc Bragi.
Yeah. Probably the worst injury that I treated and saw in a race was someone who crashed into another cyclist, hit his head, and actually developed a hematoma inside the head. So this participant lost consciousness, but fortunately he was wearing his helmet, which is required in these races, and he turned out okay, and he was able to ride again. I mean, he joined races subsequently. I think that's probably the worst thing that you can have is a major head injury.
How about Doc Castro?
Well, probably the worst thing that I ever handled was a open fracture, of the tibia of the leg.
Yeah.
Well, we were able to fix the fracture. The good news is, okay yung bike niya, walang gasgas. Siya lang ang meron, pero naayos na rin naman. But basically, ganun yan eh. Pag masama talaga yung semplang, the bike can be okay, but the bone or the whatever na ginamit na pantukod to break the fall, usually yun na nababali. And pag malakas na yung impact or yung force na pagtukod niya, usually yung buto na nabali, tumatagos yun dun sa balat. So that becomes a complication na kailangan namin ayusin agad-agad. Na hindi mo madadaan sa casting lang. Kailangan talaga operahan. So, yun, that's one of the more major injuries na nakikita namin sa cycling. Pero okay lang yan. Basta hindi mabasag yung frame mo, ayos na yun.
Actually, I witnessed one. I had this one experience. Hindi naman ako yung involved. in the Le Tour de Filipinas, I think that was 2013 or 2012. There was this Malaysian rider. We were negotiating a downhill sa Kayapa, going to Ambuklao. And there was this hairpin downhill turn. And then suddenly, biglang nawala yung yellow GC leader siya noon, yellow jersey siya. Biglang nawala siya, pala tumalon, lumampas sa bangin, which is supposed to be around mga 100 feet yung wall na yon.
Wow.
Pero he was saved by mga ipil trees dun sa gilid. And when I looked down, I saw him, he was embracing his bike. so anyway, Com3, what can you say, Com3? Are you audible?
Ayan. Actually, natawa ako kung to sa sinabi ni Doc Castro Yung sinabi niya na the bike was okay but may open fracture yung cyclist na sumemplang. So I have been to different races already, both local and international. At kapag makikita mo talaga sila, lalo na kapag rematehan o kaya nasa likod ka ng peloton, nagkasabitan yung bisikleta o mabilis ang takbo, kita mo sunod-sunod domino effect. Tapos yung mga siklista, matatawa ka, tosino na yung katawan nila kasi that's how we call it, diba? Tosino dahil talagang namumula-mula, gas-gas, sira na yung jersey, pero babangon yan, uunahin, sasabihin yung bisikleta ko. So they don't mind actually, pero kumbaga, pagdating na lang sa finish line, that's when they will feel na medyo may masakit sa katawan nila, doon na lang ma-assess ng doktor na, uy, may fracture na pala yung left clavicle ng siklista, mga ganong bagay. So, mahirap, napaka high risk, di ba sabi nga ang assessment ng during when we did the 30th Southeast Asian Games, sobrang high risk daw ng cycling, and they some of our group members na sa different departments, lalo na sa game services, very very risky daw, and parang iling sila sa cycling natin, lalo na dun sa rota. But of course, they are all professionals. Hindi naman sila lalaro nang hindi nila alam yung mga ginagawa nila. So, meron lang po akong isang question sa ating pong mga panauhin ngayong gabi. Mula po ito kay Mr. Shedrick Canare. Ang sabi po niya, how many days and what are the types of cycling workouts that usually result to over-fatigue? And how many days does it take to recover from it? So, siguro mauna po tayo kay Doc Marc.
Again, can you please repeat the question? Sorry.
Ay, sige po. So, ang sabi po ay, how many days and what are the types of cycling workouts that usually result to over-fatigue? And how many days does it take to recover from it?
Usually, if you dwell too much in sub-threshold workouts, yun yung nakaka-injure eh. So, kung masyadong mabigat talaga yung ensayo mo, na hindi ka nagre-recover, you actually push your muscle and your cardiovascular system to overload. And without proper recovery, that's where you usually get injured. So my advice for that is to consult with your coaches, or you consult with somebody who can give you a good program na hindi nyo i-overload yung sarili ninyo. Kasi once you really overload your system, like anything in life, whether it be pag sinobrahan mo, talagang titirik ka. So instead of moving forward and getting better adaptation skills in terms of your training, magre-regress ka talaga. So you will regress and you won't move forward in your training regimen. I mean, yan, si Coach Sol, very good ang mga training advice niyan. You should listen to him when it comes to training. I always talk to him in terms of my own personal training.
Nal-email ba?
Secret daw yun.
Siguro si Sol lang isusunod natin kasi he only has up to 6 p.m., di ba? Magpagagalitan ka na ng boss mo.
Yes, sir. So, yung nabanggit nga ni Doc, yung sub-threshold, so meron tayong dalawang limits, technically speaking. So parang tawag ko nga dun sa lectures ko or sa mga talks ko is meron tayong glass ceiling or yung kisame, and meron tayong bubong. Okay? So anything below those two, comfortable ka. So for example, gusto nyo ngayon lately, maraming baliw sa bisikleta dyan sa Pilipinas na nag-iikot Laguna, one shot Baguio, balikan, di ba? So kung alam mo kung nasaan yung kisame mo, which is sabi nga in terms of power or heart rate threshold. Alam mo yung threshold mo, functional threshold, power, functional threshold, heart rate. Anything sa baba nun, dapat comfortable ka. So kung alam mo, babiyahe ka ng mga 6, 10, 12 hours, dapat alam mo na hindi ka lumalagpas or hindi ka umaabot doon. So if you, for example, coach, paano kapag may ahon, may maiksing ahon, okay lang bang angatan namin to? Pwede naman. Pero expect mo na, if you go up, you must come down. So lulusong ka. So sa lusong, mag-recover ka. Kasi definitely kung masyadong matarik yung ahon na yun, hindi ka naman pwedeng hindi pumiga at di ka gagalaw. So we use the tools, we use a power meter or we use a heart rate monitor to measure intensity, to look at the response of the body on certain stress. Kasi pwedeng nangyayari, for example, bumiyahe kami one time Manila to Baguio. Pagdating namin sa Tarlac, tanghaling tapat, yung power output namin zone 1 lang, pero ang heart rate namin zone 4. So mainit na masyado yung katawan namin, hindi na kaya nung katawan namin ipalamigin yung sarili namin. So we had to stop on the road, tanggal ng helmet, tanggal ng jersey, open up, shower, just to cool off. And that was a clear sign na heat stress na yung nangyayari. So you always need to listen to your body. Injury is also, heat stress is also an injury, delikado rin siya. And pwede kayong ma-hospital because of heat stress. So alam ko papasok ang summer, so do not forget na mag-hydrate, magbaon ng tubig. If you don't feel good, gabi, punta ka sa shaded area, and the showers on the road is definitely gonna help.
Am I online?
Yes, you are.
Ayan. So, thank you. Very well said. Thank you, Doc Castro. And sabi nga ni Coach, listen to your body. And unang-una mong mararamdaman din yung kapag mainit na yung katawan mo, maybe you're losing too much water inside your body, so you need to hydrate. That's why nga, kapag lalo na sa cycling, nabibilang natin or we can compute kung ilang litro ang dapat inumin ng isang siklista kapag ganito ang distance na kailangan takbuhin. Kung ganito ang temperature, kung sprint ba yan or mountainous ba yan, nabibilang yun eh. So sunod tayo kay huli natin si Coach Dominic or si Kuya Dominic kasi atleta siya eh. So pwedeng meron siyang meron din silang ibang practice bilang isang atleta, lalo na sa loob ng track nung training siya. So siguro dun muna tayo kay Doc Bragi kung ano ang mabibigay naman niya.
So thank you po. I would agree with kay Dr. Castro, no? The sub-threshold. So that is the difficult thing. Pag you're always pushing your body to do something, you cannot time na every ride out, I'll go fast, I'll go up, I'll do these climbs, I will ride this long. So those are actually very difficult to do. You have to prepare for something like that. And quantifiable, parang sinabi ni Coach Sol, no? The power meter and the heart rate monitor. These two things are actually very important. Our power meter may be costly, but it can really help you in terms of you're putting as fast. A power meter
Signal turn ba na din?
for that, you can actually have a heart attack if you always push your body. So it's very important that nagmo-monitor po ng heart rate and then do not push all the time. Off the bat, for people who are not really going to do a race and just preparing themselves, you can aim for something that's an 80-20 principle. No? So the 80% is your easy riding and leisure riding, And then the 20% is when you do these little pushes, these climbs, these sprints. So if you can do this in moderation, then you have less chance of injury, diba? So you'd want to follow some guidelines. Thank you.
Nice tip from Doc Brahi. Maraming salamat po. Ang sabi nga po ng ating ka-BM dito, maraming nagsasabi, hello and good afternoon. Napakaganda po ng topic ninyo from Miss Elizabeth Lastrella. Marami daw po silang natututunan sa mga tips na binibigay ng ating mga panauhin. Ngayon, punta tayo Kuya Dom. Ikaw bilang atleta, syempre, lalo na I'm sure hindi pa uso ang power meter before, 'di ba? Ay iba ang mga technology na ginagamit ninyo noon, or kung meron ba, ano-ano yung mga yon. So, yun po, paano nyo iniiwasan yung over fatigue, and if ever nangyari po inyo, gaano katagal kayo nakaka-recover doon, at ano yung mga measures na ginagawa ninyo para mas mapabilis yung recovery after a strenuous training?
Alam mo kasi yung sinasabi nilang over fatigue, parang over-exertion na rin yung masyadong mataas yung training volume. So, naiwasan naman yung, tsaka nakukuha yan sa sobrang high intensity na workout na magkakasunod-sunod. Alam mo, sa isang training program, dapat itong mga hard days o yung mga high intensity days must be interspersed with recovery days. So, bigyan nila ng pahinga yung katawan after a hard workout. Kasi alam nyo, yung hindi ideal yung bawat training session nyo is hataw kayong hataw. Recovery. Tandaan nyo, yung effect of training, tinatawag na super compensation, wherein nag-i-improve yung katawan nyo, takes place during the recovery period. Hindi kayo lumalakas during the training. Lumalakas kayo during the recovery. Na kung saan nagpapahinga yung katawan ninyo, nag-a-adapt siya sa binigay na stress. Yes, adaptation process. And then, he is strengthening himself in preparation for the next effort. Kaya yung effects of training, nangyayari yan during the recovery na nagpapahinga kayo. So, ibig sabihin no, kung gaano kahalaga yung hard workout, yung interval training, sa intensity workouts, mas mahalaga din yung recovery period. It is during that time kumakarga yung ensayo ninyo. Di ba? So ito namang recovery is depende na rin sa periodization. So, meron kasi general preparation period, meron tayong competition period, saka meron yung specialization period. It is during these different phases of the periodization natin nagawa yung so yun namang mga training tools namin dati kasi tama nga yung sabi ni Shane, wala pa kami mga power meter dati. Pero inabot na namin yung yung heart rate monitor. Kaya medyo yung old school pa yung training methods namin dati. Rate of perceived exertion. So, monitor lang sa heart rate, monitor sa resting heart rate, hydration. So, yun naman mga recovery techniques maka-recover sa mga hard workout.
Thank you, Kuya Dominic. Napakagandang payo para sa ating mga siklista, lalong-lalo na po sa mga newbies dyan. So, narinig ninyo from an athlete himself, si Coach Dominic Carpio, sa rin pong international, lumaro sa SEA Games before, a medalist also. So, lumalakas po tayo during recovery. First time ko lang din marinig yan from a coach. So, kung gaano ka-importante yung training, syempre, ganun din po ka-importante yung recovery. Meron lang po akong isang tanong for our doctors. Meron po from Cardona Marc Anthony. He's a top fan of BM Cycling. Maraming salamat, Marc. Bakit po ganun, sir? Pag hinawakan mo yung handle grip ng mahigpit, buong braso, masakit na siya. So ano po kaya ang mali doon? Doc Bragi.
Okay. Usually if you have kung masikip yung hawak sa manibela, no? Sometimes it's a sign na may problem sa siko. So a common problem with cyclists, not yung mga road cyclists, but actually for mga mountain bike riders, is they nanggigigil po pag hawak ng manibela. And this is common that they get yung namamaga yung sa siko. It's called the tennis elbow. So pag ano doon, it's the grip muscles of the hand. They go all the way up to the elbow. So sometimes that manifests as pain. You'll see it mostly sa mga nagma-mountain bike po.
I see. How about kay siguro bago natin pakawalan si Coach Sibayan. Coach, ano pong masasabi mo bilang isang coach? Matagal nang kilalang marami nang nahawakan. So ano pong mapapayo mo sa atin pong fan o viewer?
Regarding sa pain, definitely sa shoulder, you need to relax the arms. So nangyayari kasi, may nakikita rin ako na other than banggit nga ni Doc Bragi, na masyadong hard yung grip nila sa handlebar, extended din yung kanilang elbows, so nakalock yung elbows nila. So actually, ang nangyayari, gusto mo nangyayari that the body is just moving like a shock absorber. For example, may mga maliliit na potholes, definitely yung kalye natin dyan sa Manila, no, sa Pinas. Hindi ganun kaganda. So matagtag siya, definitely if you're using a road bike, hindi naman, or kahit mountain bike yan, di ba? Aalog siya eh. So, if you just slightly bend yung elbow ninyo, para kapag sumabay yung katawan ninyo, kung paano rin yung hampas ng bisikleta sa kalye. And of course, maintaining balance pa rin. So, alam mo yun, if hindi pa kayo ganun kabiyasa sa riding sa labas, ako lagi kong ginagawa parking lot, okay? Practice nyo muna kung paano lumiko, paano umikot, mag-U-turn, those things. Nakakalimutan siya usually kasi parang, uy, marunong ka na mag-balance, diretso na. But those technical skills, very, very important. Kahit sa triathlon, importante siya. Okay? Navigating a course. So, for example, if ever, I hope na it gets better soon, na balak yung kumarera, laging-lagi, do not forget to recon the course. Okay? And then ako lagi, when you're commuting, plan yung ruta ninyo. Expect kung parang, okay, dito may mga obstacles to na abutan ninyo. Expect kung ano yung traffic. With those things, that will help. But definitely kasi yung mga college dyan sa atin, hindi ganun kaganda. Okay? So, always think about yung ibang tao at saka yung paghawak niya sa manubela. Change positions. Okay? Hindi laging definitely sa mountain bike, no choice. Isang position lang yun. But sa road, marami kang pwedeng handlebar grips para lang to lessen mag-iba yung pressure din ninyo. Tsaka yung handling position, mag-less yung pressure dun sa hands niyo. Tsaka dun tension sa muscles. Sa nabanggit ka nito, Brad.
Okay. Com 3. Com 3. Coach Dom. What are your thoughts on the Com 3's on the question?
Oo, tama yung sinabi na na kailangan ka medyo maganda yung sa manibela. Sa akin naman, pagka tatlo kasing points of contact between the rider and the bicycle. First is the handlebars, next is the saddle, and the third is the pedals. Yung tatlong parts na yun ng bike, only once now, which is in contact with the rider. So, yung tanong kasi, nagkakaroon siya ng parang problema sa kamay niya, sa manibela. So, it could be possibly meron siyang problema sa positioning. It could be that most of his weight napapatong doon sa manibela. So yung distribution, baka forward leaning yung saddle or masyadong mataas yung, kaya nasusubsob yung weight niya napupunta sa harap. So I would suggest magkaroon siya ng i-review niya yung bike positioning niya, yung bike fit niya. Baka yung problema kasi isa na rin yun, baka naman dahil sa yung bigat niya, naka-concentrate doon sa front end ng bike, Kaya nagkakaroon ngayon ng problema sa braso at saka sa kamay. Isa rin dyan, baka mahina yung core niya. Isa rin yun. Or yun nga, sobrang taas ng saddle. Or masyadong sub-sub naman yung manibela. Baka naman road bike yung gamit niya. Kasi nagkakaroon yan yung tinatawag nilang carpal tunnel syndrome na in the long term na palagi ng position niya, nagkakaroon ng problema sa nerve sa kamay niya. So I suggest, siguro, i-review niya yung bike position. Baka nandun din ang problema.
Okay, Doc Castro. Thank you, Dom. Doc Castro.
Okay, una-una, yung upper body mo or yung upper arms mo, ito yung shock absorber ng manibela mo eh. So when you're riding, you're not supposed to tense up your upper arm kasi ito yung mag-absorb ng shock ng daan. So when you tense this up, when you're riding, that's where you get injured. Siyempre, ang mangyayari niyan, mapupunta yung shock nun sa mga joints mo, di ba? So there, you can have problems like sinabi ni Doc Bragi na tennis elbow. So ako ang advice ko lang talaga for yung mga kapadyak natin dyan is when you're riding dapat relax talaga yung upper extremity nyo kasi kung hindi mag-relax yan tapos nakaano kayo ng lubak or nakaano kayo ng pothole, templang ang labas ninyo yan, hindi nyo makokontrol yung bisikleta nyo pag hindi kayo relax. So try as much as possible not to tense your upper extremities and relax it so that it follows the terrain of the road. And yung bako-bako niya, hindi ka ma-stress pa.
Okay, thank you, Doc Castro. May tanong si Mario Guy. Going back to yung topic kanina, yung suggestion is yung recovery is very important after a mid ride or a long ride. Yung tanong ni Mario Guy, they are a group of 50 to 60-year-old riders. Maybe they bike at weekends or every other day. Ngayon, ano ang may recommend nyo for their recovery? And siguro in general, let's go to the basic recovery ng isang cyclist. For example, you did 50 kilometers this morning or even 30 kilometers. Ano ang pinaka-basic na recovery na pwede mong gawin? So we start with Sol. Sol, pressured ka na ba ng boss mo? Or you can
Hindi pa naman po ako natatawag.
Okay.
Pero inaanap na daw ako. But,
sige, Sol, please.
So usually for that age, usually ang first off engaging in any physical activity, you always want to have a checkup. Okay? Always. And a comprehensive checkup, everything is fine. Kasi kahit nasabihin natin malakas naman ako but hindi natin masabi kung kailan. Hindi naman natin talaga rin masasabi kung kailan mangyari kung meron man, okay, na health condition. But it's nice to know na everything is good and you have a go signal with the doctor. Okay? Intense rides like that, I would say 1 to 2 for that age group. Okay? Kung talagang master athlete and depending on the history, background, anong kaya niyang gawa before, meron tayong makikita mga master athletes na kayang sumabay sa bata. Talo pa nga nila yung bata. So, maraming factors to consider. One is of course lifestyle. Okay ba kung kinakain mo, tulog mo, history mo before as an athlete, kahit tuminto ka, active ka pa rin ba? For example, dati kang master athlete sa cycling or triathlon, and then nahinto ka for how many months pero naging active ka pa rin, may pwedeng weightlifting or right now usong yoga, calisthenics or CrossFit. So gusto mong bumalik sa cycling because right now it's one of the in sports. Then definitely for me, that person is very healthy. Right? But if you consider, hindi mo ko consider yung other factors like dati ako master athlete, tuminto ko ng mga 5 years, okay, puyat lagi, trabaho, di ako nag-ensayo, wala akong physical activity, and you come back to the sport and expect the same response as before, mahihirapan tayo doon. So always for me is, sabi ko nga, listen to your body, do not, alam mo yun, kahit sabihin mo ng, of course, medyo 1 year ago na yung kay Kobe, no? So lately, yun yung napapanood ko about the Mamba mentality, that gusto mong maging resilient and have that mental fortitude to train every day and go hard. But definitely, merong iba pang kailangang isipin. So 1 to 2 sessions if you want to get speed, and if you want to get in intensity para makasabay, I think 1 or 2 sessions is enough. And you can push it at around 3. And sabi nga ni Coach Dominic, na every other day you alternate. So meron kaming concept na alternating hard and easy days. So either you go with alternating high and low intensities or workload. Okay, pwede namang mangyari yun. At hindi nawawala ang RPE kahit na pag-usapan natin kanina heart rate and power. But sabi ko nga sa mga previous slides ko is you always ask, kaya mo bang i-hold itong intensity na to? Kaya mo bang i-hold itong power output na to? Or kaya mo bang i-hold yung heart rate na to? Kasi kung hindi, then alam mo sa sarili mo, this is your one of the best supercomputers eh. Kahit hindi, alam niya na hindi na niya kaya. Alam ng katawan natin na hindi na niya kaya. Kaya ka nagka-cramps kasi you're not on the physical condition. Yung muscles mo is not on the physical condition for that effort, for that condition. Kaya siya nagka-cramps because kulang siya sa muscular endurance, kulang siya sa to the point of cooling itself. Okay? And you have other techniques to take out that cramp. So pwedeng stretching. Right now, there's research on taking sour drinks to rewire or reset the nerves. Marami ng updates on that. Pero pag tinignan mo ano yung background nun, bakit ka nagka-cramps is because kulang ka sa ensayo. Or kulang ka sa pahinga. O ensayado ka, pero kulang ka sa pahinga. So, ba't ganun? Coach, ensayado naman nun, nagka-cramps pa rin ako, or hindi ka nag-hydrate properly. Hindi ka ensayado ka nga, pero puro ka naman sa aircon nag-ensayo. So, pagdating mo sa labas, hindi mo kaya yung heat condition. Right? So, all of those are factors kung bakit nangyari yung mga yon. And sports is never gonna be one factor. It's a multifactorial, lots of factors going on. So kailangan mong isipin each and every one. And for me, that 50-year-old case is definitely you precautions. Yun lang naman, sir. And still enjoy. Still enjoy.
Okay, thank you. Sol, just give us the signal kung nakalabas na yung weight ng boss mo dyan. Okay, Doc Castro, how about your take?
My take on it is that, each and every person kasi has a different threshold. So it's really hard to give a hard and fast rule to majority of everybody kasi each athlete, especially at that age, has different thresholds. So ako, ang sasabihin ko niyan is you really have to follow your instinct and your body. Listen to your body. Kasi may mga iba, sabihin sa kanila na kailangan ganito, let's say, mag-ensayo ng 100 kilometers. Tapos the next day, ganito. Hindi na nila kaya, hirap na sila, or alam mo yan, they're struggling to do it, pero gagawin pa rin nila. And remember, as you grow up the seniority ladder, diba, your heart can take, umiiksi rin or dumidecrease rin yung capacity ng puso mo na magtrabaho. So, kailangan natin respetuhin yan eh. So, pag dumating ka na dyan sa golden age na yan, dapat yan, mas sensitive tayo na hindi natin i-overload ang puso natin. So, walang mawawala sa'yo kung pakinggan mo yung sarili mo at sabihin mo, ngayon, pahinga muna ako. Hindi mo na ako magra-ride. Di ba? So, you have to understand also that rest is really part of the training program. And, if you don't rest, adapt, wala talaga mangyayari. Hindi ka magpo-progress. So, it's very hard to answer that question, how many times we should do it. Kasi, each athlete is different eh. We don't know what kind of athlete are you referring to? Ano ka ba? Yun nga, sabi ni Coach Sol, master athlete ka ba? Are you 60-year-old weekend warrior? Iba ang recovery ng dalawang yan. Okay, they're two different bananas. Hindi sila pareho. So, yung mga iba, let's say if you're a master athlete, just 24 hours recovered na yan. Pero pag let's say weekend warrior ka, nag-long ride ka, pag long ride of 100 kilometers, wasak ka you're recovering for 2-3 days. So it depends talaga on on the level of athleticism that you have. But basic yan is you always have to listen to your body. Diba? Don't push it. sometimes diyan ka pa madadali pag pinilit mo ng pinilit eh. Diba? Maraming ganun eh. Parang naghahabol sa training, kala nila makakabuti, tapos biglang they end up getting a heart attack.
Okay. Thank you, Doc Castro. I-break natin kasi si Coach Sol, has to attend to his work sa Doha. So, Coach Sol, any parting words for our athlete cyclists?
First off, sir, thank you sa opportunity to be invited here sa BM Cycling. And of course, to be part of a great pool of speakers and guests today. Actually, si Doc Bragi at si Doc Marc, matagal ko nang kasama yan. And ngayon lang ako matagal na hindi nandyan sa Pilipinas, but usually nag-ride kami together. Sa mga listeners, of course, thank you very much for tuning in sa mga questions niyo. How I wish I can still be there para be here sa show para masagot ko. And gusto ko lang mag-shoutout sa mga friends kung okay lang. First off, sa FitQ dito sa Qatar, sa mga supporters, sa PRQ, Pinoy Roadies Qatar, sa local club ko, dyan sa Toro Hill Cycling Club, si Vek Viray, nagpapa-shoutout kanina sa tawag dito, sa Bulacan. Okay, meron silang small group dyan na mga aspiring athletes and cyclists. And definitely sa parents ko, alam ko they're tuned in, sa in-laws ko, and sa, ewan ko kung meron mga students sa UST, former student ko sa UST na nakikinig ngayon. And just remember everyone na listen to your body, okay? Wala namang problema, definitely, yun nga, always consult a coach, have a checkup, and have a healthy lifestyle. So hindi lang puro ensayo, so eat well at saka tulog din ng maayos.
Okay, thank you, Saul. Hope to see you next year sa World Cup.
Hope to see you rin po.
Coach Doc Castro, I'll ask Attorney Ed, baka pwede tayong pumunta ron. Sige. Thank you, Saul. There you have it.
Take care, everyone.
Okay, Doc Bragi, pasensya na kung tinatawag kitang Bragi kasi nung elementary high school ako, meron din akong classmate kasi okay. Braganza. Bragi rin tawag namin sa kanya. Name niya Daniel Braganza, is now in Canada. So, Doc Bragi, your thoughts? On the recovery.
50 to 60.
Yes.
Yeah, on recovery. Actually, Coach Saul was correct. No? Let me share a story. Last January, I had a friend of mine who passed away from a heart attack. He had picked up cycling during the COVID period. So he's 52. He was 52 years old. He was biking a lot. He lost a lot of weight. He looked great. But at the end of it, he went for a long ride. He went home, he had chest pain, and then he died of a heart attack on the same day. So what does it tell you? It tells you that this guy I knew used to play a lot of basketball with me. He's 52 years old. He picked up cycling, which we all perceive to be a healthy sport. And it's something that we can do very easily. But what does it tell us? It tells us that you should get yourself checked before you engage in any particular sport. Dr. Castro made a very good point as well, that we all come from a different background. So it doesn't mean that someone who is conditioned, he can always push, someone na hindi sanay can push. So there's no clear-cut rule, but we want to live longer. That's why we're cycling. We want to live healthy. We want to be happy. But one thing you can do is get a checkup to be sure. No, wala kang heart enlargement, walang barado.
Cardiac clearance.
Yeah, just get the clearance, because it will give you peace of mind, and you'll know that you can do exercise and sport. No, it gives you that peace of mind. No, and then other things were also raised. When you're doing exercise like cycling, consistency is very important. We always hear about the weekend warrior, the weekend athlete, that when they go out, they go all out. They do these climbs dito, up Antipolo, they go up to sa Tagaytay. You do all these rides. And you come from Manila, kunwari, layo ng bike mo, and then you push for an activity like that, which you haven't really been preparing for. You just push hanggang kaya. But sometimes things like these can be dangerous. I was mentioning ni Coach Saul that it was already midday. So imagine going up uphill and then 4 or 5 hours ka na nagbabike, tas sobrang init, something will take its toll on you. So for our participants who are 50, 60 years old, still do consistency. I would think you do more easy rides and ride in moderation. Get good recovery, meaning you hydrate, drink every 15 minutes while you're riding, take a break, drink while you're on a break, eat well, eat healthily, get enough sleep. Diba? Tama ni Coach Dominic. He made a very good point na adaptation happens when you are resting, not when you are riding. That's very important. And then if you're not too sure about activities, just think in a month there are 4 weeks. You can ride out on the 3 weeks, you can push on the weekends, but take a week off. On the 4th week, take things easy. Let your body rest. And then Dr. Marc said, listen to your body. It's one of the things that can really help. No? So always have an easy week. Don't be pushing all the time because face it, hindi naman lahat tayo nagkakarera. We're not racing. So you should have a realistic perception of what you want to do. Diba?
Okay, thank you. Very informative.
Can I make a comment? Can you make a comment to that?
Yes, go.
Doc Bragi, bakit pag nagre-ride tayo parang laging karera mode ka?
Dr. Marc, sa takbuhan lang yun.
Hindi ba ina-apply yung 75% rule?
Nambubudol.
Yeah.
Is that yung recommendation mo, Doc Bragi, does it fall under the 75 rule cycling, 75% rule in cycling?
Yeah, I think so. You do a lot in moderation, then you just push for a particular percentage. For me, it's an 80-20.
80-20.
Yeah.
You put it 5% higher. Huh? Okay. About Coach Dom.
Yes.
Recovery.
Kasi yung tanong about sa 50 years old and 60 years old na mga riders. So, hinay-hinay na tayo pagka ganyan na. Kasi, yun nga, hindi na tayo bata. Saka ibang natin, recovery, hindi na katulad sa bata na isang tulog lang, kinabukasan close to 100% na ulit. Ngayon, sa ganyang edad, after hard effort, it would take 2 or 3 days of siguro bago bumalik sa dating lakas, no? So, mga ganyang edad, so listen to your body. Tama nga yung sabi ng nila Doc at saka ni Coach Saul na listen to your body and monitor your capacity sa kanyang recovery niya. Huwag na kayo sumabay sa mga bata kasi iba na ang maximum ng bata sa maximum niyo. Baka sa inyo, maximum na sa bata, endurance pa lang yan. Kaya pag sabay kayo doon, kayo. Kaya easy, tapos yun nga, bigyan ng sapat na pahinga. Wala naman kasing masabing clear-cut na recovery period sa ganyan kasi iba-iba din yung lakas. Ako, I've seen 50-year-old riders na mas malakas pa kaysa sa 30 years old. At the other way around, meron din namang mga batang rider na yan, sobrang lalakas din. Kaya may kanya-kanya na tayong capacity, depende sa edad na rin. So, maganda nga yung point nila, Doc, na get a check-up, at least annual, meron ka sanang annual check-up. Para lang malaman kung nagkakaroon na ba ng problema. At, yun lang, hydrate, huwag na masyadong magbabad sa init. 1, 2, or 3 hour rides on a weekend, okay na yun. Huwag na masyadong magkaano pagka ganyang may edad na.
Okay.
Huwag na masyadong push.
Hindi na bago yung pyesa, no, Coach Dom?
Oo, kasi yun pagka may bagong pyesa, may bagong big set, ganadong-ganado. Gusto ikutin yung buong Laguna
Correct.
Maghapon. Medyo alalay lang ng konti pagka 50 or 60.
Okay, thank you, Coach Dom, Com3. Ano ba yung meron kang pa-contest ata, Com3? Is she in, Com3?
Yes, hello, Com3. Ako ba yung naririnig?
Yes, 5x5.
Thank you. So yes, we have a contest for tonight. It's yes, gabi na. Meron po tayong trivia dito, and unahan lang ating mga ka-BM to type in their correct answers, and ang ating pong mga ka-BM dito sa office sa Manila or sa Makati rather, ang magsasabi kung sino po ang ating mananalo. But before we madali lang kasi yung ating questions, so we'd like to ask Com2 to show first to the audience, so at pakita mo Com2 sa ating mga ka-BM kung ano po ang manalunan nila ngayon.
Ito po, dalawang set ng bar strap and dalawang pairs of socks. Yun.
Alright, so sa ating pong question, kailan nag-umpisa ang Tour de Filipinas?
Dagdag pa yun. Ay.
Ulitin ko po ang napakadaling sagot. Giveaway na to sa atin pong mga siklista, sa atin pong mga manonood siguro. Ilang beses na namin ito nabanggit mula sa episode 1 hanggang paulit-ulit namin sinasabi. Kailan po nasimula ang Tour de Filipinas, ang kauna-unahang international cycling road race dito sa bansa?
Okay, yun po ang tanong ni Com3. Kailan ang first Tour de Filipinas? Anong taon po? So, Com3, medyo it's 6:21. We have 9 minutes remaining. Ang bilis po, konti lang yung na-touch natin na topic. Mag 6:30 lang tayo, although free air naman, baka lumampas tayo ng konti. Com3, allow me to ask this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. And I will just get brief answers from our 3 guests tonight na. So, Com3, let me very quickly.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is it bad for cyclists to walk up and down the stairs? Doc Bragi.
Up and down stairs?
Yes.
Actually, it can be a good cross training for a cyclist.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the power comes from the quadriceps in your hamstring. So when you're going upstairs, you actually engage the quadriceps a lot. But the nice thing with cycling, lalo na pag naka-cleats kayo, you also engage your hamstrings as well. Hindi lang siya puro tulak kapag yung mga flats.
That's the reason why I asked the question is experience namin sa Tour de Filipinas. Yung mga international teams na pumupunta rito, yung mga Japanese, Chinese, Iranian, they advise their riders against using the stairs. They always ask them to use the elevator. Doc Castro, how about you?
Well, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do it unless na hindi ako mag-up and down the stairs kasi pag naka-cleats ako, baka madulas ako eh.
Correct.
Okay. Yung sapatos, delikado yan. Mahirap yun.
Coach Dom.
Well, it's an old cyclist custom, old belief. Ideally, you don't do it during the competition period.
Okay. Number 2, do you need a massage after a long ride? Your especially your thigh and leg muscles. Hindi ko na sasabihin kung ano yung masagot ninyo kasi tumango na kayo. That's the way to relax the muscles.
Yeah, but when you're doing your massage,
yes,
you can wait actually a day or 2 after the activity, so you don't injure the muscle too much. Because massage it's good, it feels good, and it also promotes blood flow. So something that should be done.
Okay. Drinking Coke, eating bananas, and hard-boiled eggs. Tumatango ulit kayo, no? So, okay.
All good.
It's about nutrition talaga eh. So, right now kasi there's a more, dati kasi tayo, itlog, di ba? Tapos saging. Ngayon kasi there's a more scientific approach to getting the nutrition already eh. So, especially in the big races like the Tour de France and the big races in Europe, they really measure what you need to eat and how to eat it. So, Tapos they compact it para hindi nakaka-bloat. So that's where the scientific powders and all of these things come in already. Dati kasi, ang turo sa atin, madaming itlog para lumakas ang muscle, di ba? Pero,
saging para walang cramps.
Oo, saging pero walang cramps. Pero ngayon kasi, inaano nila, ini-incorporate na nila sa diet yun, especially when they feed the riders pre and post for the recovery.
That's why I included Coca-Cola or Coke sa question ko is because elite riders, in a race, 150 to 100 kilometers, they drink about 10 to 15 cans of Coke. That's for the
each can of Coke kasi is around 50 grams of carbohydrates eh. So, di ba kung dati Coke, ngayon gel. Di ba? Ganun yung ano, and at least pag ano ka, it's more yung mga ibang foods ngayon, more scientific ng pag-feed sa mga riders. So, there is a ano to that. There is a truth to that also. Drinking Coke.
Cold water or warm water? Or normal room temperature water?
Cold.
Cold?
Cold. To cool down your body, also cool down your temperature, your core temperature.
Yun. What else? After a strenuous ride, what's the normal, if your beats per minute is reaches 100, is it normal?
When I have races, mga triathlon, usually they push themselves too much. One thing I do off the bat is that after a minute or two, the heart rate should go down by about 20 beats.
Okay.
So it means you're conditioned. If it doesn't go down by about 20 beats in 1 to 2 minutes, either you're poorly trained or you have underlying cardiovascular condition.
Okay.
At saka, it depends yan, coach eh, kung ano yung resting heart rate ng, it's very hard to categorize that. Sabi mo 100, paano kung ang resting heart rate niya mataas to begin with? Diba? So, usually ang trained athletes, mababa ang resting heart rate. So if the more trained you are, the lower your resting heart rate should be. So you won't be surprised in seeing seasoned cyclists with resting heart rates of around 50.
40 to 60, parang ganun. I read somewhere, 40
to minsan. So to categorize that. So but yun nga, sabi ni Doc Bragi, pag masyadong mataas, you could be not hydrated or may underlying cardiac condition ka.
Okay. Speaking of heartbeat, one way of determining if you had a good night's sleep is by yung heartbeat mo. Is it correct? If it's around 60, 70, and it means does it mean that you had a good night's sleep and you can do a long ride after that?
Low resting heart rate is always good. That's why during the training period, every time when we wake up in the morning, talagang chine-check namin yung resting heart rate. But the key is it should be consistent. Huwag yung akyat baba. Kasi indication yun of poor recovery or too hard volume. So pagka naman steady siya along the way, tapos consistently pababa, that's a good sign of magandang training and magandang development. Wag lang akyat baba o lang mag-spike.
Yeah. Coach.
Yes, Doc Bragi. Oh, we lost Doc Bragi.
Can you hear me?
Yun, yeah. Go ahead, Doc Bragi.
Yeah. A low resting heart rate is good, but you have to differentiate it from someone who has a slow heart rate. So there is a pathologic or disease entity where patients will actually have a low heart rate. They will think that they are conditioned, but actually they're not. May bara yun, coach. So that's why, as we said a while ago, at 50, just get a baseline checkup. Makikita yun. It can be differentiated. That the cause for the slow heart rate is a problem with the heart and not because of conditioning. So we're after the conditioning. That's the one we want to get, the slow heart rate from a conditioned heart muscle.
Thank you, Doc Bragi. In relation to the heartbeat, the blood pressure. When you bike, of course, you do strenuous exercise, activity, your blood pressure rises. So should you be alarmed?
So when you're checking, like in a race, these people are pushing, no? So whenever we stop, I actually do away with the blood pressure unless they passed out, no? So usually I'll only do a blood pressure if they're already well rested and the heart rate is normal. But it is something that if you have you're well conditioned, your blood pressure is supposed to be lower. So that's when you're not participating, you can check.
When you say low,
something less than 120 over 80. So less than 120, 110, 100, and then the lower number, that's the should be lower than 80, maybe 60. Pag 50 kasi medyo mapapaisip ka. So yeah, so those are called your when we get our blood pressure, it's actually for our viewers, no? The 120, that is when the heart the higher number of a blood pressure is when the heart is contracting. So that is the systolic pressure. And then the second number, if it's high, that is the diastolic number. It means when the heart is relaxed. So bomba, relaxed. Bomba, relaxed. So that gives you an idea that that's the pressure of the heart.
Okay. For my last question, ito, very common na nating nakikita sa mga Facebook friends natin. Especially yung mga weekend warriors, those who bike on weekends. They post photos ng ride nila sa Tagaytay, sa Antipolo, Binangonan, etc. And then at the end of the series of photos, they are having lunch. And they show pictures of magla-lunch sila ng bulalo, magla-lunch sila ng nilagang baboy, nilagang baka. What can you say about those?
Sige, okay. Go ahead. Alam mo, it depends on why you get into cycling. Okay? If you're here to lose weight, if you want to cycle to lose weight, diba, remember, kahit na malaki ang output mo in terms of caloric output because of what you do, because of the activity, if you compensate it with a higher caloric output, a higher caloric input when you eat, di ba? Di negative lang yun. Hindi ka papayat. Input-output lang yan eh. So if you really want to lose weight, dapat yan yung yung activity mo, mas maraming caloric output kaysa sa kinakain mo. As we say nga, you can't outrun a bad diet. So kahit na cycling ka ng cycling or training, pero you keep eating, it won't make you lose weight. Diba?
Okay. Coach Dom.
Pag-aanan na lang ng fight, huwag na lang pag-aanan ng chan.
Masarap daw na magandang recovery daw yon, sabi ni Luis John D. Roblesa Ranyosa. Coach Dom.
Tama yung kay Doc talaga, no? Kailangan mas mataas yung biniburn mo na calories sa pinapasok mo sa katawan mo. Ganun lang yun. Napakasimple. Pero mahirap din gawin ko minsan kasi tayo, after a hard ride, we reward ourselves with sobrang sarap na pagkain naman. Binuhin mo, bike ka ng 1 hour, tapos pagkatapos to celebrate, pasok ka sa fast food, kain ka ng quarter pounder cheeseburger, milkshake, gano'n. So, sayang lang yung araw mo.
Yung bulalo, extra rice pa eh.
Oo, isa pa yun. Ano talaga?
Coach, mahirap din yung bago mag-ride, kumakain. Nag-ride, kakain naman.
Yun na nga eh.
Pag may makitang tindahan, titigil, ano?
Hindi ka makalayo.
Coach Brady. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They both raise very important points. No? Yeah, it's after what you want to get from your ride. But actually, me, I'm guilty of it. I'll go for a long ride so I can eat what I want. No? But the thing is, you have to really, you are what you eat. You are what you eat.
Exactly.
And then for us who are non-professional athletes, because madaya yung mga professional athletes, they eat whatever they want. They don't gain weight and they still look good. But unfortunately for the rest of us, we do not have that luxury of having a high basal metabolic rate. So in that case, it's more of 80 to 90% what we eat, and then just 10-20% of our exercise. So it's really what you eat. You are what you eat.
Okay. Isang question pa, kasi si Doc Marc, may surgery pa siya. Ano bang question na yun? Kaya never mind. Ito na lang, i-announce ko na yung winner ng yung dalawang sets ng bar tape. Isang set pala. Tig isang pair of socks and one set of bar tape. Ang winner is si Connie Hardin Carpio. This is her name. Connie Hardin Carpio.
Facebook poster.
And another one is Joe Fai. Very short name, Joe Fai. Di ba ito yung Joe Fai, yung sa sex bomb? Sige, I will do that later. So, i-contact na lang kayo ng staff ng BM Cycling on how you can claim the prizes. So, we've come to the stage of episode's end ulit. It's actually 5 minutes past lumampas tayo sa finish line ng 5 minutes. So, kukunan na lang namin ng short parting words ng aming mga guests ngayon. Unahin ko si Doc Marc, pero Direct Ed, I believe Doc Marc is one of the success stories in losing weight. Doc Marc, will you give us the privilege to show yung success story mo?
Sige lang, sige lang.
Okay. Direct Ed, okay? Ayun, si Doc Marc from before and after. So, Doc Marc, yung sa left picture, ilang kilos o ilang pounds ka dyan?
That was 240 pounds.
And on the right side, on the right photo?
160, 165.
So, what did you do and how long did you achieve yung 165?
Well, ano yan, consistency yan eh. So, ako kasi, when you take cycling as a path to lose weight, you have to do it consistently. So ako, I try to do at least 40 kilometers a day, 4 to 5 times a week. So I ride 40 kilometers to 50 kilometers a day, 4 to 5 times a week. So yun, tapos long rides weekends, pero daily, kung umuulan, magte-trainer ako. Basta talagang consistent talaga. Doing it on the weekend is just not enough. Tapos yun nga, follow, you should follow, you are what you eat. Hirap yung, syempre pag kain ka ng kain, hindi mo masusunog lahat yan eh. So kailangan mo talaga, more output, less input.
How long did you achieve yung...
Ha?
Ilang buwan or did it take years for you to...
Actually, kasi I was cycling when I was in high school and college. Tapos I stopped during med school and my training. When I was training for sports medicine. Tapos when I came back after my training, that was around 2008, sabi ko, ang laki ko, kailangan ko nang bumalik sa cycling. So I started cycling again. Yun, tapos 2008 all the way till now. Never stopped na. Tuloy-tuloy na. Tuloy-tuloy na ako.
Doc Marc, before you say your parting words, si Japoy Lizardo, sabi niya, idol talaga, Doc Marc. Si Japoy Lizardo po, taekwondo champion natin. Ayun, coach. He's now a coach. So, nagbabike din ba si Japoy?
Yeah, he's getting into cycling also. Nag-ride. Hindi ko pa nga nakakasama mag-ride din eh. So,
will cycling help taekwondo?
Ano po yun?
Pwede bang maging cross-training ng taekwondo G ng cycling?
Yes, cycling is very high cardiovascular activity and you can really use it to cross-train. I mean, a lot of, especially MMA fighters, si McGregor is known to use cycling as cross-training to increase his cardiovascular capacity.
Okay, siguro next time, Japoy, baka pwede ka namin invite dito. Taekwondo champion turned cyclist. Okay, hindi ko na i-delay. Doc Marc, parting words, advice.
Okay.
Very short.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening in and, cycling is a really great way to, to get into shape and get fit. very low incidence of injury, especially if you have problems already with your knees, your ankles and your hips. Very low impact ang cycling to those joints. Nagiging problema lang talaga ang cycling pag sumemplang ka. So guys, just be safe. Make sure that you follow the road rules when you cycle. The worst thing that can ever happen to you is you're cycling, you don't follow the road rules, and you get into an accident. Siyempre, ayaw natin na ma-aksidente tayo, makabangga tayo, or tayo mabangga ng ibang sasakyan. So, follow the road rules, wear your safety equipment, and listen to your body when you train. Kasi that's the best way talaga to get fitter in cycling and consistency.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc Marc. Sabi ni Japoy, looking for a bike rin po. Bigyan mo raw siya ng bike. Kaya rin ng bike. Okay, Coach Dom. Kumusta sa Davao?
Nako, grabe dito sa bike. Dito sa Davao, Form 2. Kung dati, weekend rides namin, ilan lang nasasalubong namin na bisikleta. Ngayon, 1,000. Talaga, grabe. Dami nagbabike ngayon. Sabi ko nga, sa mga nakikinig dyan, now is the time to buy a bike, ha? Kasi, siya, health-enhancing activity siya according to IATF to fight COVID. At saka isa pa, buong bansa ngayon nagkakaroon ng drive towards establishing protected bike lanes sa lahat ng mga cities natin. So, magandang panahon ngayon para sa pamimisikleta.
Yun. Thank you, Coach Dom. See you soon. National Championships. Okay, Doc Bragi.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Kabalo yan.
Biking makes you feel like young again. So it's a fun activity to do. It's good for arthritis. It's good for the knees and hips. Basta komportable yung ride mo. Dr. Marc said, be careful because the worst thing that can happen is when you fall or have an accident. So one thing I want our listeners or viewers to remember is always practice proper road etiquette. So respect the other riders. You see a car, you see a truck, iwas kayo, mas malaki sa'yo yan. You can get injured by those. So ride safely, defensively, okay? And then know your limits when you ride. Listen to your body and be consistent with your riding. Don't always push on the weekends. Be very consistent. If you can't bike, go for a walk or some other form of exercise. Okay? Then can I greet my friends?
Of course.
Yeah. I'd like to say hi to my Mad Dogs Triathlon team.
Yeah.
We will race again, guys. And then to my Zwift brothers who I ride with on Zwift. And to my wife, hi Kat. To my dad, he's tuned in to the show. Hi Pops. Thank you very much.
Yes. I heard kasi yung trap, may application siya sa IATF. Nakapending lang siya kasama ang Patafa. And then ang field cycling this week mag-apply na rin para balik na yung competition, balik na yung training. Yeah. So when my reporter Joseph Ramos, who is here, interviewed si Vince Dison, si Secretary Vince Dison, he said, I think it will be tackled this week, yung application ng trap and Patafa. So anyway, thank you our guest, Com3. Bago tayo magpaalam, may maraming dito, may mga shoutouts pa. Babangitin ko lang, Jeff Abad Clemente from Qatar, si Marc Anthony Cadona, yan, lagi natin kasama yan. Yuan Villa of San Jose del Monte, Naya Villa, Avelina Figueroa, Alex Figueroa, Loyola Lydia Hilario, and her dog daw, Vito. Yung BM account managers, Carlos Ganaban, Yves Arlo from Tokyo, meron tayong galing Tokyo. Lon Ate from Makati Med. Saturnina Castillo, si Marivic Awitan, andyan pa rin. Janine Maria Aldrivino Clemente, Queenie Manse. Yes, thank you very much. Com3, are you there?
Yes, Com2. So, I'd like to say thank you to all our guests. Medyo hindi na ako nakapasok kanina kasi sobrang pasensya na po mga ka-BM. Sobrang hindi maganda. Siguro Manic Monday talaga. Masyadong maraming gumagamit ng internet lalo na dito sa probinsya. Humihina ang bandwidth, na hatak masyado. So, I'd like to say thank you. Shout out lang po pahabol kay Miss Ann Ruth de la Cruz, ang editor ng Health and Wellness ng Philippines Graphic. So, siya po ang nag-invite sa lahat ng ating mga doctor guests ngayon, partner. So, thank you Miss de la Cruz. Shout out po yan personally galing kay Mr. Rodel Suarez na nasa NLEX ngayon.
SLEX, I think.
I'm sorry, SLEX pala, yes.
Okay. Okay, so closing na tayo, Com2. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-BM. We have come to stage 9 and once again, and I hope you have learned so many things from our distinguished guests. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, cycling. And until next Monday, February 15, same time, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. This is Com2 signing out. Com3.
Ka-BM, thank you Com2. So time flies, sabi nga, or should I say, time's so quick just when you're right at the top speed of cycling. So again mga ka-BM, let's thank God for another successful stage of BM cycling. Paalala po, let's keep in mind what we've learned tonight from our guest coach, our guest trainer and doctors na nagbigay panahon upang mabigyan tayo ng kaalaman kung paano magkaroon ng injury-free ride. So this is Com3. Until next Monday, Roger and out.
Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.